Hi, I am Andrea Cooley, and I am one of the owners of Des Moines Mom. And I'm so excited to be here today with Amy Skogerson and Andrea McGinn with The Law Shop. They have, these two attorneys have a really unique and cutting edge way of offering legal services, and we're excited for you guys to learn more about them. So I'll turn it over to you.
Hello, my name is Andrea McGinn. As she said, I am co-founder of The Law Shop by Skogerson McGinn, LLC. We're located actually in Van Meter, but we serve clients really mostly around the metro, central and southeast Iowa, but around the whole state, frankly. I am a mom myself then. I have two boys. Two young boys, 4-year-old and 1.5-year-old. And so Amy and I are partners here at the Law Shop. I'll let her kind of introduce herself a little bit and give you a little bit of background on her, and then we'll dive into who we are as a business and what we do.
Great.
Okay. So yes, my name is Amy Skogerson. I am also a co-founder and a collaborative attorney and mediator here at the Law Shop in Van Meter. I have been practicing for about 18 years, and I've done all sorts of things, but have whittled it down to more than a couple of areas that I spend most of my time in. Andrea, actually, she and I first got to know each other when she was actually a law student, and then we kind of connected in a special way, and we figured out that, gosh, we maybe have the same vision for how we want to make the world a better place. So she actually then started her own firm separate, but we were under the same roof, and then eventually we just kept seeing that vision aligned to the point where we felt like we had to do something and do it together and do it big, and we have, and it's just been such a wild ride. We started, gosh, what, 3 years ago? Has it been that long?
3 years.
3 years ago, we were both solo outfits with each of us had no staff, just solo attorneys. And now we have 5 lawyers and 2 staff, and we're actually probably going to be hiring more fairly soon. So we think we've caught on to something there. So where would you like us to start, Andrea?
Yeah, I think, I'd love to hear you talk about you having a similar vision and, how you are different than maybe your typical law firm. And so if you can go into a little bit about that and how you offer services and what someone can expect when they come to you.
Yeah, so when Amy and I, well, like she said, we have a background together. So when we decided to partner up, it was because we found this common theme or common vision, really, after going to some conferences and so on, and realizing that there is a really big population of unrepresented people then in our court system, especially in the family law arena. When we were first learning about it, the statistics, and I think they're continuing to creep up, really, they are talking like 75 to 95% of people going through a family law matter are unrepresented or do not have an attorney alongside them for that. There are various reasons then for that, and Amy and I really wanted to figure out, okay, well, if that's really happening, why is that? And let's look into that, and let's figure out if that many people, are not being represented. That's a huge market that we're not serving. That maybe let's see what other options there are that we can help give them some sort of assistance then to navigate this very, complex and such a stressful time in their lives too, that they're trying to navigate that. So we, when we're learning these statistics and everything, we're like, let's dive in, and we kind of just dove in head first. And we joke about it because we were actually in Boston, Massachusetts at a conference then learning about this, and we drove around the Cape one day, rented a car, and kind of came up with our vision really of how we wanted to go about this, and decided that we were diving right in. So we both kind of focused on family law then when we started this, right? And that family law, there's kind of a few areas that we have seen and that studies have shown have a very large percentage of unrepresented people in the courts then. It's family law and landlord tenant law, and I think it was like debtor creditor, right, was another one.
Top areas for unrepresented litigants.
Yeah, and so Amy and I being kind of already, focusing a lot of our practices on family law, went that route and looked more into Iowa. And Iowa already had the rule that allowed us to come in and I guess I'll kind of get into then what does it mean to unbundle your legal case or have an unbundled attorney, right? So you can come in and you can have an attorney do either bits or pieces of your case, right? Or kind of like piecemeal it and do from here until this point in your case, or deal with just this issue in your case, something like that. So kind of a way to describe it then to people to help them better understand it is like a la carte, right? Like you can choose this service or this service, or you can combine different services, stuff like that. So if there are other options, really the main thing, right, that we want to relay is that there are other options out there besides you come in and you pay us thousands of dollars for a retainer. You don't know what you're going to get with that.
All right, Andrea, you were telling us a little bit about the a la carte services and how if someone came in, and had a family law matter, whether it was divorce or custody related, that they could meet with you and maybe just pay for you to look at one thing rather than paying a retainer for, thousands of dollars.
Yeah. So where I was going with that was that what we really want to relay to people then and get across to the public is that there are other options than coming in and getting nothing or paying thousands of dollars, to an attorney as a retainer and not being super clear on what you're getting with that. So many options in between, and that's really what we were focusing on with the unbundled or limited scope. There's a lot of different names for it, a lot of different things, kind of terms that we throw around as far as what you want to call it, right? But in the end, it is that there's we can customize a plan, right, for your legal matter. Like I said, Amy and I started out with it in family law, and we're really trying to expand that into some other areas. And I'm going to kind of let her talk about how we go about that then. But really the gist of like, what is it that we do, or what is the unbundled legal services, is just that, is that we can customize a plan for your case. You don't have to come in. It's not all or nothing. You come in and let's figure out what fits your budget, what fits your plan, what fits your legal needs, where can your money be spent with the most impact, or stuff like that. So go ahead.
Okay, I'll be brief here. So really, as Andrea mentioned, that we're trying to help people control their own costs. And what we found is that with those statistics, the very high number of litigants that are not utilizing attorneys, in some instances, it is a price thing. It is because lawyers have just become so incredibly expensive. And I wish we could say that there are quality reasons for that, but it trickles down from the cost of law school to the cost of the of running a firm, to, all that stuff we don't even like to talk about. So, but what we've found is that 60% or more of the people who are not utilizing lawyers actually can afford them, but they're choosing not to use lawyers for reasons. And so one of those might be because they think that they'll be able to do the same thing with a like legal or, which, not to diminish those services. There's a personal aspect, especially in a family law matter, to working a case that we find to be really important. Another reason is because people are looking for online opportunities to be able to to get their representation, get their legal services handled. And a final reason is because there are a lot of really reasonable people out there who feel that they are intelligent, they're articulate, they are educated, they can find their own way through certain things, and they want to be able to handle as much of their own case as they can, and maybe just get a little bit of assistance here and there as needed. And sometimes folks just don't know what exactly it takes to get through a particular type of case, and so they're just needing a little bit of coaching or guidance. So a lot of what Andrea described as far as the customizing legal services for our clients, we start every representation or even involvement with someone with what we call a shop evaluation, and it really kind of all rolls from there. That shop evaluation is for really, we cover three things in every one. One is, of course, what are the facts of your own situation, because that's the most important thing. So what is your story? So that's the first. The second is we'll give the client a 30,000-foot view of the legal process and kind of what to expect just generally there is what's going to happen, or what they can see, what we can tell them is coming ahead. And then the last part is to discuss how can we customize a plan for you. And the customized plan may or may not involve further work with us. I mean, it's a matter of really trying to zero in and focus our efforts on where we're going to be the most helpful. And in some instances, that's maybe one thing. Maybe it was just the shop evaluation. All they wanted was a guide. And maybe it's that we're just going to go to mediation, or maybe we're just going to assist with a financial piece of some kind. Maybe it's going to be a fuller representation. And we could, of course, go into a million different ways that we do that, but for the sake of time today, we won't. But we're trying to offer something that just gives so much more of the population access to the justice system.
I think that's great. And I think especially, when someone finds themselves in a situation where they need legal advice, it can be overwhelming. They're already stressed about it, unsure how they're going to pay for it. So knowing that they can, seek out some of these, to get advice and get other options, I think that is really important. And just something from, knowing as a mom that your law shop is very, approachable and personal. I think that goes a long ways. Something else that you mentioned was collaborative divorce, which is a phrase that people might not be familiar with. Can one of you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I'll let Amy go in on that. She's super, super passionate about it, which I am too, for sure. But yeah, she loves to talk about it. So I won't steal her thunder.
I do. It's so fantastic. I love it. So the collaborative process is a voluntary way in which to go through a divorce. And by the way, we do offer other services. We have estate planning, probate, guardianship, conservatorship, real estate, the whole host of other things. So, and if you call and we don't offer that, we will always give you a referral, a name and number for another attorney that we know and trust that would do that area. But in terms of collaborative divorce, it's there's always going to be the same kind of court process happening in the background, no matter how you end up resolving a family law matter. But in collaborative, it's a very intentional, high-minded team approach. So you're actually working with a full team. And so typically a full team, let's just say a typical divorce, we've got a couple parents, we have a couple of children, and we don't want to focus on past fights or why we're not going to stay married or any of that. We don't want to make the parents' trauma the children's trauma. We want to be really focused on a plan. What's your plan for your future, for moving forward? So with the collaborative divorce, what you get is a full team that includes 2 collaborative attorneys. They have a special training to sort of our goal is to get you through without court. It's in fact, some places they call it a no court divorce. We still have to deal with the court system in the background, but it's really we're not talking in the shadow of the courthouse. We're really just focusing on your family. But you also get a coach, which is typically a mental health professional on the team who's there to help with communication, to make sure that everyone's being heard, even to make sure that the attorneys, the professionals are communicating well with one another. And you get a financial neutral, which is going to be a financial expert who is a certified divorce financial analyst, say that fast 10 times, who is someone who is going to help you to flesh out what do you have for your assets and debts, and what's a good way that we can make this work for both of you. What do you need in your post-divorce budget so that you can make sure that you can move ahead in your life? And the beauty of all of this is that it sounds extremely expensive, but realistically, it's actually very similar, sometimes even less, I've found, in cost to a traditional divorce. It has, because of the fact that I am working with other professionals, my role as an attorney is much less. And so instead of having 2 lawyers kind of charging at their usual hourly rates that are sometimes the highest at the table, we step back as attorneys and we let the parties go work separately with their financial neutral as needed, with the coach as needed. And then we'll just do a series of smaller meetings amongst the team, and then we'll do full team check-in meetings every so often until we get to the end. So some take just a few meetings, some take more, but what I've found with a good number of my collaborative divorce clients is that they're getting really high quality results, very creative financial solutions to complex financial situations, really excellent parenting plans, sometimes extra stuff like if we have a parent who has a substance abuse issue or a mental health issue, we can create safety plans within the context of collaborative divorce. So it's just something I just love. I feel like it's the best work that I do. So there you have it.
That's really great. I think there is so much information there. yeah, just about what that process looks like and what kind of service is provided. You mentioned just briefly some of the other services that you offer, like estate planning. I forget the rest, but
That's okay. We have some real estate. We do handle real estate matters, guardianships and conservatorships, especially for adults. We see a lot now. I mean, we have a whole generation, of baby boomers and so on that are needing estate planning, or maybe they're getting into ages where we have issues of dementia, or in fact, we're seeing now parenting plans that instead of being for children with minor children, it's adult children needing parenting plans with their adult parents because the siblings may not agree. So, which that also, by the way, we utilize mediation in those settings now, which I do a fair amount of mediation, but also we're starting to see those types of cases use the collaborative process, which is pretty cool. So so those would be some additional things that we do. A little smattering of criminal. We actually, oddly enough, we have a public utility, which and that's been one that I've worked on for many years and I really enjoy. But so like I said, give us a call, and if we don't offer it, then we will by all means make sure that we get you in the hands of somebody who does.
We love our adoptions too.
Oh yeah, yeah,
those are the fun ones.
We do a lot of those too.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that is great. And I think that was my final question. If people want to know more information, is it best to call and kind of, either set up a consultation or, kind of ask a few questions to see what the best fit is?
Yeah, so if they give our office a call, they will get to talk to our wonderful, we call her our chaos coordinator, our office manager. Her name's Dee. She's just a sweet, sweet gal. And so they'll get to talk to her, and she'll really guide them as far as who they need to talk to, what attorney they need to talk to and schedule an appointment with, and what that's going to look like.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. It has been great, hearing from you and learning about what the Law Shop offers.
Yeah,
thank you so much for having us.
And check out our website or any social media. We're pretty big on Instagram and Facebook. We love that too. So
lawshop.net and just the Law Shop by Skogerson. Again, if you punch in the Law Shop, you'll find it on most social media. So yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.